today's workshop, which you have put together, is titled Emotional Intelligence. Let's start with the first question. I've seen the term emotional intelligence used frequently regarding or in regards to child development.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, can you define it clearly and how it is taught?
Okay. This happens to be one of my very favorite subjects that I teach in my class. We've paid up to, for the last any number of centuries, we've paid more attention to a child's development intellectually. And IQ has been seemingly an important measurement of a child's worth, or later on a human being. How smart is it? What's their IQ? Are they really smart? Well, it turns out that now that we know that there is such a thing as emotional intelligence, which means that a child's development should be able to encompass an ability to experience and articulate their feelings at a parallel level with their intellectual development. So what I'm saying is that a child's experience of his life is measured not just in how much he knows about mathematics or geography, but it means like how well can you empathize with others, how well can you express your feelings. And I think it starts as soon as a child begins to reflect an emotion on his face. When you first see a child register an emotion like happiness or joy or sadness or anger or disappointment or frustration especially, I think that you can say it looks like you're saying to your child, it looks a little bit like you're a little bit angry about something. Now something that simple, it confirms it gives a child a word to describe what his feelings are, so he knows he has a state of being that he is now aware of that goes beyond knowledge. It is about a sense of self. How I feel is your experience of your life. What you do is you do it because it makes you feel something. And you want to experience feelings that make you happier. So when somebody's unhappy and they can articulate what it is they're unhappy about, we have an astronomically higher chance of fixing it for them. So if your son say, "Daddy, I'm really angry," right, how would you handle that, Ricardo? What do you think is a good way to I'm sure you've done it. So what do you do with them?
Wow. Well, I try to find out why.
Okay, that's the start. Yeah.
Right.
What is it? And the next thing that you might say is,
I don't know. What do I say?
Okay, you've done it. It's just
I
like
know,
it's right
I know,
on the
I
tip of
never
your
think
tongue.
about it.
We say, well, let's see if we, and this is how you bond with your kid. You say, it looks like you're really unhappy. Well, tell me, let's see what it is you're unhappy about, and let's see if we can figure out something together to do about it. Let's come up with a strategy for making this better. So next time you'll know how to fix it yourself.
Right.
So here he's identified a feeling. You've confirmed it, right? I say, and I think there are some parents who they have a trouble with seeing their child get angry about something. Anger is a very natural human emotion that's probably from infancy through to our deathbed. We're going to have to learn how to manage anger. And so if your child comes to you and says, "Daddy, I'm really angry," and I hate to say this, but mothers more often than men are the ones who don't like the experience of anger. I don't think it's that they insist that their kid be happy, but I don't think that they've been taught as well as boys how to address anger in a constructive way. Girls are supposed to be nice. So we tell our girls, now, don't be nice. It's very unbecoming for a young lady to be angry. So they learn how to bury this, which is not a good thing.
Right.
And fathers, incidentally, are supposed to teach their boys how to manage impulse control and to learn to express anger in a socially constructive way. But they're also supposed to teach their girls how to express it in a way that's acceptable.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, let's go ahead. Let me ask you this other question about this emotional intelligence, right? Also known as EQ.
EQ.
Right. Why is this so important? Why is this so important?
Okay, because later on in life, Ricardo, when the child goes out and when he starts to play, when he goes into school, his ability to navigate and to understand his own feelings is going to help him communicate his feelings to his friends and to his teachers. He'll know the vocabulary and he'll know how to express that vocabulary. If his kid next to him hits him, well, he's going to say, why did you hit me like that?
Right.
And please don't do it again.
Right.
But he knows how to say, instead of just saying silent, because he knows something's wrong, but he doesn't know what that feeling was of discomfort. He knows he's uncomfortable, and he knows how to address it to the kid to stop doing it.
Right, because if he knows how to communicate it, he'll turn and say something like the way that you taught me. If you haven't,
right, and if this kid doesn't respond to it, he'll have the presence to say he can go to the teacher, who's an authority figure, and ask him to intervene for him.
Right.
And this is the beginning, though. Actually, this is the foundation of empathy. When you know your own feelings, when somebody hurts your feelings, you understand what it's like to hurt somebody else's feelings. It's an example. So if you say something mean or cruel to somebody, or if somebody says it to you, or if you felt hurt and you didn't know how to say, it hurts me when you say that, you're never going to know how to know when somebody else is hurt, how to comfort them.
Right.
It's like if I'm to say, like if you were looking depressed and like I have never learned how empathy works, I would ignore you. But the fact, if you look depressed and say, hey, Ricardo, like what's the matter, man? You look like kind of upset about something. There's something you want to talk about? And that's our basic, that's humans, how we communicate with each other. That's how we build communities, and that's how we build families, is through the understanding of each other's feelings.
I have been in these situations many times with my children where they have either been a little mean to either my wife or myself, and I definitely remember me saying to them, either you were just being mean to mommy, and I don't think that's cool. You want to talk about it? And usually they say no. They don't want to talk about it.
Sure.
And then there's plenty of times when they're mean to me, and I feel like I've been so nice, I've tried so hard, and I look at them and I say, look, I think you're being mean, and I've done this and this and this and this for us or for you, but yet you're not,
But they haven't reciprocated in a way that's it. Well, here's where like learning child development, comes in. In your best service. I mean, you have to know that developmentally, they're still going through periods of like unbridled aggression. They don't know like how to discipline their feelings. They get easily disappointed and angry with the slightest intrusion into their expectations, and so to learn frustration tolerance is like also one of the things that fathers are particularly good at. Mothers seem to rush to a child's defense or to a child's assistance. And this is research, much faster than a father does, because the father teaches them slowly and gradually how to tolerate frustration and how to be able to deal with it and to live with it to an extended period of time, rather than just throw their hands up in exasperation or strike out against something that they believe is the antagonist.
The funny thing is that the reason mothers are so much quicker to react is because they're so much more in tune with their children, because they've been there for the beginning. It's for the same reason that research also shows that one of the things that we teach children is a better vocabulary. Right. So mothers are in tune with their children. They use the same words more often, so that they can be more efficient in their parenting.
Right. And I think as symbols, the mother has often been the go-to parent for. I mean, this doesn't have to be this way, but I'm talking about how society has ingrained in us a certain role that moms and dads are supposed to play.
Right.
Like if a child does something that's offensive or unacceptable, mothers have a tendency to go to the child and say, when you do something like this, it really hurts my feelings to see you act in such a. But fathers will take the tact of saying, tell them what the social consequences are.
Right.
When you do this, you're going to be punished. You're going to, your teachers are going to be very unhappy. Right. Your grades will go down. If you do this later in life, you're going to go to jail. Yeah. You won't have any friends. And you'll never have a girlfriend, and so forth. But these two different approaches give the child a wholeness. They're both essential.
Yeah, that co-parenting thing right there gone right. Let's go ahead and review a little bit of what we talked about. It's quite a bit of information. So then we have that fathers teach emotional intelligence by recognizing changes in moods and using the words to describe them frequently, until obviously, like you said, it makes sense. Children are able to express their needs if they have a word
to describe the feelings.
right. And it reduces frustration, which you were saying. And finally, children develop the skill of empathy for others when they know their own feelings. They recognize them in others. That's
Right.
so